What's up, guys? New Scott back here with another New Scott interview, and I'm back once again with Maritime Wrestling's Devin Chittick. How you doing today, Devin?
I'm doing very good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. The last time we did an interview, it ran just about 4 hours and 10 minutes long.
It was a long one.
What were your thoughts on that interview?
I thought it was great. Like we were talking about earlier, you asked me questions about the past 16 years of my wrestling career that a lot of which I've forgotten about. Because so much happened, and then when we were watching it back, I'm like, I forgot to say this, or I could have said that, or I could have elaborated more on that particular story or question, and like you said, we could do part two and probably do another 4 hours easily.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that someday. That's not why we're here today, but I do have a couple of questions as opposed to the reason that we are here. First off, a question I've got asked a couple of times about you is why you're no longer with Ultimate Championship Wrestling.
That's a good question. Anybody who doesn't know, pretty much what happened, I don't know if anybody knows, but I used to be the booker for UCW. Back when they were, 2 years ago, around this time, they were, just pretty much known as a glorified backyard promotion, and nobody would work for them and things of that nature. And I had a meeting with the owner, Chuck, and he asked me if I would come back and if I would be the booker, and I said, we'd have to work something. We'd have to make some kind of an agreement out, both financially and personally and professionally, and just try to make things work so we wouldn't butt heads, and we'd have to come up with some agreement, and so we did, and so I became the booker, and I was doing that for, I don't know, I guess for a year, and I thought that I really helped bring things around. I brought in guys from the United States. The product really started to improve, and once it did start to improve, then a lot of the other maritime wrestlers who had been established throughout the territory wanted to come in and work for Chuck again. They hated UCW and they hated him and didn't want anything to do with him, and then it seems like all of a sudden and then Jason Rumble was helping me book, and once we got things up to a nice level where they should be and gave it some attention again, then everybody else, it was kind of like the floodgates open and everybody else wanted to come in and work for him. And then after the summer tour last year, when we had Matt Hardy in, maybe it was before that, I'm not sure. It was sometime last spring or summer, and
The Hardy tour was in like April.
That was
16.
Yeah, that was in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That was that's the last time I booked, I think. And then when the it was. And then when the summer tour came up, when we had Rikishi and Tatanka in, the book was taken from me, and there's a new booker there now, and him and I never really sat down and had a big conversation about anything. He didn't like me right off the get-go for some reason, and that was pretty much it. And then on that summer tour, it's like, I had my crew in from the States, and he was with his crew from, there was a contingency from New Brunswick, and it was just like there was two. It's like almost like the locker room was divided, not of my accord. It just happened that way, and it was a he said, she said sort of deal, and all of a sudden I learned that they had this heat with me that I didn't know anything about, and I couldn't remember maybe a couple of instances where there's some small instances that were, there were some words said and stuff, but there wasn't anything serious. Like there was an instance in Digby where my hotel room, mine and Jason's hotel room was trashed, and we weren't really happy about that because our passports and pictures of our kids were on the floor and stuff. And a rib is one thing, but when you're fooling around with somebody's government issued passport and pictures of your kids and stuff, and it's just strewn all over the room, that's a little bit too far, I think. So I went back to the arena and I was pissed off, and I threw some tables around and put my merchandise table where I usually put it, and some people took issue with that, and I'm like, it's a big deal. Okay, it's over. You know, I'm only human. If it was anybody else or one of their friends, it would be just swept under the carpet sort of thing, and then that was pretty much like the end of it. There was just there was too much squabbling and stuff, and they wanted me and Jason Rumble out, and that was pretty much that. And I was it wasn't Chuck's decision either. It was really mine, with of course the influence of these people who didn't like us, and I was booked to do the last show I was booked to do was in at the military base there in Greenwood last year, and I was booked to go. I had my bags packed and ready to go, and me and the current booker were talking. He was texting me that morning and stuff, and ragging me out and just shitting on me, and didn't want me to go. And I'm like, well, it's not your decision. You know, Chuck wants me to go, and it just got to be so much of a headache. I just said, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna stay home. It's not even worth it, and it's not worth the headache. So I just I stayed home, and I haven't been back since. So that's pretty much it, I guess. Kind of a long-winded answer, but that's what happened.
Last August, there was a Twin City Wrestling tour that was supposed to happen featuring Tommy Dreamer, Tyson Dukes, Mike Hughes, Brody Steele, Lincoln Steen. That tour got canceled, but there was one show that was saved in Digby.
Yeah,
no,
I was
not
booked on that
Digby,
tour.
at
I was
the
booked on that tour too.
Upper Clements Park, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that Digby? No.
No, Upper Clements Park is Naples Royal.
Right, sorry.
Well, it's close to that area.
Yeah. There was one show that was saved for Upper Clements Park. That was it was a fundraiser for
Special Olympians.
the Special Olympics, and that was one show that was saved. Your thoughts on how everybody came together to save that show?
It was great. It's I was a little bit apprehensive at first because I hadn't seen Mike in 4 years. I hadn't seen Pete for probably just as long.
Yeah, Mike did an incredible job saving that show for
it was
everybody.
Awesome. It was awesome. And it was the first time I seen Riddick Stone for a while. First time I seen Titus in a while. Yeah, it was the first time I seen all of them in a while. And yeah, we just all came together and as a team, and everybody worked together. It was one of the best times I've had in years. It was good to. It was so good. It was so good to reconnect with all those guys, and we had a really good time just catching up and telling old stories and stuff, and the show itself was top notch, and like I said, the whole roster was really talented, and everybody got along that weekend, and we really, it was a real team effort. That really was a great example of how the business should be run. Everybody should put personal differences aside and come together for a greater good and a good cause, and that was just a great weekend, and what a successful show it was. Everybody had fun and everybody worked really hard. It was a great time.
At some point in time after that show, you did an interview with Reginald Burke on Facebook.
Never.
At like 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's a lie.
What prompted you to do that?
Oh, it was just we were just having some drinks and having some fun and being like, you know, just having fun. And there was so many rumors and so many people talking shit about me and stuff, and it's unfortunate that because Reginald Birch was behind the camera that he was automatically associated with, you know, my opinions and stuff like that, which he wasn't. And I just asked him if he would videotape the friggin' thing, and yeah, I just said a lot of things that needed to be said, and I tried to dispel some of the rumors and some of the crap that was being spread about me that, you know, that wasn't true. And I was feeling pretty good that night, and I just let it all hang out. That's what shoot interviews supposed to be, right? Some of the guys do these shoots, and they don't shoot. They don't. You know, if everybody who did a shoot interview actually shot on people and expressed their real feelings,
Yeah.
everybody would have heat with everybody. But just because I did it,
Yeah.
and said what I thought about everybody, now I'm now I'm an asshole for it. So whatever.
What are your thoughts on the backlash that came from that?
I knew it was going to come, and I knew there'd be some people that would inbox me and message me and call me and say their piece, and nobody really did. I got it all secondhand, and I stand behind everything that I said. I think everything I said was justified. There was a lot of shit talking about me that they shoot about me, but they don't do it in front of a camera. I just happen to do it in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And you know, like somebody said, you know, these are my friends and they're such good people. Yeah, to you they're good to you, but I'm talking from my personal experience and how I was treated.
Right.
Like the way me and Jason were treated in that locker room during that summer tour was just, it was deplorable.
Right.
You know, if it was anybody else, you know, 6'4", 300 pounds, never would have been said because it would have been killed. But just because, you know, we're a little smaller, I think people can take, liberties and say certain things and try to think they can get away with saying certain stuff, but that's not the case, and I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid to speak my mind about anybody, so, you know, I didn't bring any of this on. It was all about that stuff that happened in the last tour, and they didn't want us around, and me and Jason were in cahoots, and we sat beside each other at the merchandise table. Just really petty bullshit stuff, and people thinking that I was trying to get them unbooked and all of this stuff, and it was all about title belts being won, and the whole thing was just foolish, and I just, you know, so and it wasn't stopping, so, you know, they made it very clear that they wanted us out, and me in particular, and so I left, you know, why stick around and you know, put up with that, but.
Well, now that we got all that stuff out of the way, you mentioned that you're back in the promoting game. You and Jason Rumble have started up Victory Championship Wrestling. How did that come about?
Well, pretty much last year after the summer tour with UCW, you know, we were, as things started to fall apart between, you know, the relationship between myself and the people at UCW, we were just talking one night, I think, at the hotel, and you know, how we, you know, tried to decipher what was going on and why things were going down the way they were, and we said, we just kind of looked at each other and said, why don't we just start running again? You know, we're both kind of getting back on our feet, you know, we've each been promoting for equal amount of time probably, and I said, well, I sold Mainstream Wrestling Entertainment to Steve LaRock in New Brunswick. I said, we can't really...
Damien Dredd?
Yeah, Damien Dredd. We can't really use that name. I mean, I could, but I said I kind of want that to be his thing, you know. And I didn't think it'd be right to try to take that away from him. And he said, well, why don't we just use my old promotion's name, Victory Championship Wrestling. You know, it's already established, and we could call it... I don't know which one of us said we could add Can-Am on the end of it, because we'd run shows in both sides of the border of the United States and the Maritimes, and I said, okay, well, let's do it. And so I sold a show to the Pictou Landing First Nations there in October, and we did one in Perth Andover, New Brunswick. The next thing.
The smirk on your face when you said that was...
Oh, because that was a Jesus, a long way to go, and we almost got killed. We hit a deer on the way up there.
Oh, wow.
A moose, rather, sorry. We'll get to that in a second. So,
can't wait for the moose story.
and they were both on First Nations reserves, so, of course, what better person to bring in but Native American Tatanka, so, and I had already established a good rapport with him in the spring, or
He's been here a few times.
last summer, yeah. So, but yeah, so those shows went off really well, and those were the first ones we did together as business partners. And I want to let everybody in. People were asking me why, and that's pretty much why. You know, I'm like, well, instead of dealing with the politics in the Maritimes and with other promotions, why don't we just start back up running? But let's do it collectively. And you know, there's certain areas that I'm better at than Jason, and there's certain aspects of the promotional side and the wrestling business that he excels in that I'm kind of shorthanded in. So we thought, boom, let's do it, and we're best friends. So let's maybe this is the answer. Maybe this is a solution to the the situation we're in. So, yeah, Victory Championship Wrestling Can-Am. You can check us out on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram at VCW Can-Am. And I just want to let everybody know that that we're back, and my reputation, which I think is more positive than negative over the past 14 years, is going to be put into play full force. We've got huge plans for 2017. I've already got several dates confirmed.
Are you going to be running in the Maritimes?
I'm going to be running all over the Maritimes, all over, and I'm going to be running. We're going to be doing quite a few shows in Maine and throughout New England, not just Maine. In the United States, Jason's currently working on a television deal. Our video production is going to increase. We've got a videographer that we've hired up there who's going to put together some entrance videos. We're just really excited about it. I want to let everybody know that we're back and that I'm back as a promoter full time. This is going to be probably how I'll finish my career out, and it's going to be a really good production. They're going to be solid shows, really talented rosters. It's just going to be great. We're really excited about it. We were just speaking the other night about we have something we never had before. We're going to have a really nice set design. We've never had that before in mainstream, like an entranceway, and so we've got something that's it's simplistic, but it's modern. It's going to look really cool. So we're excited to unveil that in the spring. And just a lot of things have changed. The other thing I just want to kind of talk about and clarify, it's no secret that I've had my share of demons and stuff. Like I've been battling alcohol addiction for years. I was sober for 3 years up until 2014, and I'm sure it's common knowledge that I would drink going to the shows, and sometimes during and then after to the next town, and just
Fond memories of the Copper Penny.
yeah, just around the last year or so, I really been putting a toll on my body and going through some personal issues. But I'm happy to say and let everybody know that I'm rehabilitating myself right now for that. I'm down to drinking just once a week, so hopefully by the spring it'll be obsolete. Period. And for me to say that I'm down to just one night a week, that's huge for me. For anybody who knows my habits, I've been back in the gym for a little over a month.
How much do you bench, bro?
I'm doing about 350 right now, 6 reps. No, it's not about that for me. I just want to, and I've got I guess an endomorph body type, but I've already lost a little bit off my belly, so I'm gonna look really good for April. No one's ever gonna say when my final match takes place that he was an okay wrestler, but he never had a great body. No one's gonna be able to say that by the time it's all said and done. Jason's in the gym non-stop.
I see his pictures.
He looks like $1 million. He's looking like $1 million again. So we're really, and Jason and I have this thing going where every day we send each other, we'll text each other a motivational quote to keep ourselves inspired. So we're both feeding off that positivity off each other and putting that to use and getting the promotion going and getting things out the ground. And failure's not an option. It's just going to be we're going balls to the wall, and this is going to be huge. You're going to see some new and familiar faces. Some people you've never seen in a long time are going to be coming to Victory Championship Wrestling this year. We're going to be doing a mainstream reunion show that's going to be announced, and you're going to see some old faces that you haven't seen in a long time. And
bring Scott back from New Zealand.
There's going to be some surprises that you're not going to think you're going to see, and some people coming back that you're going to thought you'd never see working with me again. Some things are seriously. There's some big things that are seriously in the works right now, and it's going to be a huge year for us. And I know people will be sitting here watching this, and the doubters and skeptics will be making their predictions right now. But anybody who knows me, like yourself, who's knows what I'm capable of and has seen these huge tours that I put on, and have seen the successes and the trials and the failures too that have come with everything, but knows my work ethic. Most people you can ask, they'll tell you that I was always the hardest working promoter in the Maritimes, and I still am, and you're going to see that again. And there's been I've surrounded myself, unfortunately, with a lot of negative people in my life this past couple of years. And like I said, I've been going through a lot of stuff personally, and nothing to do with wrestling. But I'm trying to slowly. I've been weeding these negative people out of my life, and I'm getting back into I'm back into my meditating routine. I meditate twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. I'm back doing yoga on a daily basis, and I'm going to do this. I'm serious about it, and I'm taking it extremely serious. And I think everyone's going to be really happy to see what Jason and I have in store for everybody in the new year. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you have any shows that you want to announce for the Maritimes that are coming up, or when it's going to start, or anything along those lines?
It's going to be in April, and I'm going to announce it on our website, or maybe even with you, probably around Valentine's Day, and because I'm still closing a few deals, but yeah, it's going to be the old school schedules like we used to do, and they're going to be the biggest tours in the Maritimes, and the most successful. And yeah, we're back, and this is it. Sky's the limit.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Just you only get to live once. Life's so short. Do what you want to do. Go after your dreams and make them happen. There's only one person who's going to stop you, and that's you. I like the quote where they say, your greatest competitor is the person that's looking back at you in the mirror. And that's your biggest competition, and I think if you can overcome that, and if you can meet that person head on, and you can accomplish anything. And I've always said with a little persistence and a relentless imagination, you can accomplish anything. And like I said, anybody who wants to work for Victory Championship Wrestling or talk to me in person and kind of put some things in the past and squash some things or whatever. Like I said, I have no heat with anybody. And yes, you're not going to get along with everybody. Yes, you're going to butt heads with people here and there, but I wish no harm in anybody, and I wish the best of luck to anybody who's in this business. And contrary to popular belief, like I'm a much more positive person now that I've cut back on some of my bad habits and eliminate some negative people and negative circumstances out of my life. That I'm a much more pleasant person, and feel free to send me a message on Facebook, online, and let's talk about some possibilities of working together. And just keep an eye on us, because Victory Championship Wrestling is going to be a real force to be reckoned with.
What are the links where they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Well, I'm on
whatever?
Facebook personally as Devin Chittick, of course, and then it's VCW Can-Am. There's a hyphen between the Can-Am, and on Instagram it's at VCW Can-Am, and you can follow us. You can follow us there constantly, and things are going to pick up social media wise too, and as far as getting more things online and uploaded, and the YouTube channel. I got to get Jason's working on that right now, but there is a VCW YouTube channel that's some old stuff. People something I'd like to mention too. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because the Victory Championship Wrestling has a really rich lineage. It's been around the United States for well over 20 years. It was started by Jason's mentor, the Boston bad boy Tony Rumble. And that was who Jason took his namesake from. So Tony Rumble actually started Victory Championship Wrestling years ago in Massachusetts, like I said, well over 20 years ago. So it has a really rich history behind it, and so we're happy to carry that on. And there is a VCW YouTube channel that's got a lot of stuff from the past that's on there, and that'll all be on the website too. That's currently under construction. It should be ready in a week or so. But yeah, you can find that, of course, all on our site. And of course, go to your page, which is Maritime.
Maritime Wrestling and Sporting Events. It's facebook.com/maritime sports and facebook.com/team Newscott.
There you go. So, and I just want to thank everybody for watching and for sticking behind us. And you'll see me pop up in different promotions, of course, besides VCW over the next little while. So come up and approach me, whether it's at the merchandise table or if you're a wrestler and you want to talk about the possibility of working for Victory Championship Wrestling, feel free to approach me. So,
all right. Well, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out to do this interview. Looking forward to seeing what Devin Chittick and Jason Rumble bring to the Maritimes with Victory Championship Wrestling this spring. Thank you very much for your time.
thank you. Take care.